Am I the asshole for telling my neighbor that their dog has been in my yard and they accuse me of lying? So I, 23 and here's what happened. I live next door to Remy and Nadia, who have this big old bulldog named Olive. It's not like Olive is a tiny thing or anything, it's huge. Anyway, last week I came home from work to find that Olive had dug up my front lawn again. I mean, it was a pretty good-sized hole, about 3 feet deep and 5 feet wide. I knew Remy would be mad when he saw it, so I decided to talk to them about it. I went over to their place and told them what happened, and they got really defensive. Nadia said that Olive never leaves the house and that I must have made a mistake. Remy chimed in and said that if I was going to accuse him of not taking care of his dog, he should at least know about it from me or Nadia. Then he turned on me and said, "You're just trying to get us in trouble with the neighbors and you're making this up because you think we're too loud." Olive even barked a few times, like she was agreeing with Remy. I got really frustrated with them at that point. I mean, it's not hard to see that Olive had been digging in my yard. I have footprints all the way down to the bottom of the hole and there are pieces of her fur stuck to my fence. But they just wouldn't listen. Nadia kept saying we'll talk about this later over and over again, like she was trying to avoid the issue. Remy even went so far as to say that I must have put Olive in my yard myself because I'm always yelling at her. Am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for constantly changing the subject when my parents bring up having kids at every family dinner? So I, 23F, and here's what happened. Last week, we were all gathered around the table for Thanksgiving dinner, and as usual, my mom Quinn started talking about how she's going to be a grandma soon because of her friend who just had a child. I let it slide, thinking that would be the end of it. But then Ivan, my dad, jumped in and said, "You know, Isla, we've been talking about when you're ready to have kids too." And by ready, he meant when the time is right, which code for you'll figure it out when you're 30 like your mom did. I tried to politely laugh it off and change the subject, but my dad just kept going. He started asking me about my plans for marriage and how many kids I want, which is basically what every family dinner conversation has been about since I was a teenager. My mom chimed in, saying that she's worried I'm not making enough money to support a family, which, again, isn't something we haven't discussed before. What really puts my foot down is when they start asking specific questions like how much do you think it'll cost to raise a child, or when are you thinking of starting a family? It's like they assume I've already made up my mind and just want their advice on how to proceed. Newsflash, I have thoughts about this, but I'm not ready to share them yet. I know my parents just want what's best for me, but honestly, it feels like they're trying to dictate my life decisions. They never ask me if I'm interested in having kids or if I've even considered the financial implications of raising a child on my own. It's like they assume I'll magically become an expert on parenthood just because we have dinner together once a week. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for deciding to withhold rent from my landlord until they fix the mold issue in my apartment? So I, Piper, and here's what happened. I've been renting this apartment for 2 years now, and over the past 6 months, I've noticed a significant amount of mold growing on the walls and ceiling. It's not just a little bit, we're talking thick, green stuff that looks like it could be toxic. At first, I just tried to ignore it and hoped it would go away, but the smell was getting worse and I knew I had to do something. I emailed my landlord, Jasper, multiple times, explaining the issue and asking him when he would fix it. He responded with some generic excuses about waiting for the right materials or hiring someone who was more expensive than his usual contractor. I told him that this wasn't a normal situation and that I needed a solution ASAP. That's when things got weird. Jasper said that if I didn't pay rent on time, he would evict me. He even sent me a notice saying that I was 14 days late with my payment, which is ridiculous because I've been paying on time up until now. My family thinks I'm being dramatic and overreacting, but I don't care, the mold is a serious health issue. When my mom, Devin, asked me why I was making such a big deal out of this, I explained to her exactly what had happened. She just shook her head and told me that I needed to calm down and focus on finding a new apartment if I didn't like living in the one I have. That's not helpful, my lease is still valid for another year, and I'm not about to give up without a fight. I've decided to withhold rent until the mold issue is fixed, but now my family thinks I'm crazy. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for choosing not to speak at my Aunt Nadia's funeral due to our complicated history and judging comments from others? So I, 33F, and here's what happened. I've always had a strained relationship with Nadia, mainly because of her constant manipulation and control over family members, particularly my mom. She would often call my mom multiple times a day, every day, complaining about something or other, and my mom would get sucked into it, apologizing and trying to make things right. I tried to stay out of it, but it was hard not to feel frustrated and helpless. When Nadia passed away, her funeral was arranged by my cousin Wade, who's always been her favorite child. He invited me to speak at the service, supposedly as a way of honoring her memory, but I knew better. I'd seen the way he looked at me with a mixture of disdain and pity, like I was somehow responsible for Nadia's problems. On the day of the funeral, I decided not to say anything, even if it meant not speaking out loud. Instead, I wrote a brief note expressing my condolences, but kept it to myself. The thing is, people started judging me for not speaking, telling me that I was being disrespectful and rude. Lexi, who's been trying to be more like Nadia in her own ways, even texted me, saying something like you're really going to sit there and not say one word about your aunt. That's just so rude. I'm 33 now, and I've learned that sometimes it's okay to set boundaries. I don't have to pretend to be someone I'm not or participate in a ceremony that feels forced on me. Maybe I should have explained myself better, but honestly, who wants to explain their reasons for not speaking at the funeral? It's just so awkward. Am I the asshole?